15, we'll call the meeting to order and ask Commissioner Tony Smith to lead us in prayer.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, let's thank Thee for another wonderful day. Lord, bless all the people that need You during this holiday weekend. You need help a whole lot of people everywhere. Bless our troops that are fighting for our rights, our way of life, our freedom. Bless the people that are sick. Bless this group of people that's here tonight to conduct the business for this county, so it's fair to every individual in the county. In Thy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. I believe everybody's present. So, first item, we approval of the minutes from the November 22nd meeting.
Second.
All right, motion second. Any comments? All right, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, we're rolling on. Under new business, solid waste. I don't think I see her here, but we have a report, don't we? Was it? Yeah, we have our solid waste report.
Diane's not here. I can answer any questions you might have.
Has anybody got anything specific for Mark? It needs to be pretty easy. All right, here. All right, not hearing anything there. We'll move. Yeah, you're welcome. We'll move on to HR. That she's here, and I think we have a report too. So.
Yes, I also submitted my report, so you all have the data on the new hires, resignations. We did not have any rehires or retirements for November, even though this is December meeting, we run our reports through the November data. For you all, so next month in January, I will be providing year-end totals for you all, how many came in and out, and all of those good things for next month to reflect the December totals. But the 6 in and then the 7 out are not specific to the same departments. I'm pretty cognizant of that because that was a great question several months ago that one of you all had. It's not an in out. The full-time specific were for fire, maintenance, juvenile detention. Some of your resignations were within health department, jail, E911. So, of course, we have some standard postings that we leave open as reoccurring: paramedic, AEMT, EMT. We have one coming on in that department, I believe December 23rd, that probably goes back up to full staff in that department. Continue to onboard several corrections officers. Full-time firefighter, we've closed. Part-time is still open, but since the last time we all spoke, I have filled it together as a team. We filled the position as the youth service officer for Judge Rich's office. All of the health assistants at the health department are fully staffed. That's been closed, full-time fire and full-time juvenile detention. And most of my active ongoing resource project efforts have been directed at Title VI and Title VII annual training. So whether or not we do the virtual, and we do offer that through our software for employees who choose to take the virtual 6 and 7 module training. I'll also go on site, and that's what I've been doing the past several weeks, and conducted my last session this morning with animal control. So, you don't have any questions?
Okay. Any comments or questions? All right.
Mayor, I have a question. Director Boyette, are you going to be available for our Rules Committee meeting today? Because there is some questions about the ethics policy, and I know that you had worked on that and been a part of it. Are you going to be available, or do you have?
I do. I have it here, and I did a comparison and contrast of what's changed specific to the CTAS recommendation to the state legislation as opposed to what you all are currently doing.
Would you be so kind as to help us
Sure.
when we get there?
Yeah, if you didn't, there's been a lot of discussion by all the committees wanting to make sure that our ethics policies are in line with the state. And when we started looking at that, Shanna actually, the state realized there's some things that they wanted to correct in their language as well. And so we were waiting on them. They've now done that. And really what we've put forward is mirroring what the state says. Now, the county has the ability, if they wish to tweak that, they can. But if they don't, then it'll just be read into the minutes. Is that right?
Right. It would be spread across the minute if it's the minutes of the next commission meeting, if the resolution. But the ethics policy, if nothing changes, it is CTAS legal counsel's language that they sent to state legal counsel that was adopted by the House and state at the last session. And so this is what was pushed out to all counties across the state of Tennessee. But if you all choose to insert additional information in there, it will require a vote of the commission and a resolution of you all. Technically, industry standard, what you all have done in the past is just spread it across the minutes. Whatever policy you all wish to be under, we just have to update the ethics commission at the state level at that time.
Any other questions for HR? All right, so you got a little preview of what's coming up next. All right, next is archives, and she's in the house, and she gave us a report too.
Yes, we continue to increase every month, our requests for research with research patrons. This week, this month, we had everything from arrowheads and the kind of arrowheads that show up in Bedford County to, historic preservation programs and projects from MTSU. There were several MTSU programs and projects in the county this last semester, and they have come to us to help them somewhat with their research for projects, particularly old cemeteries and schools. So those are the kind of things we've had, and so we've continued to work on sorting the permanent records in the attic based on the temporary as well. So still plugging along on that, and we had the one interesting thing in November. We had 16 hours of Tennessee Achieves projects and Tennessee Achieves volunteers, and I'm not going to say anything because I was bad about procrastinating in school as well, but they all wanted to do it on November 30th, and the deadline was December 1st. So we had 16 hours, and we could have probably had 16 more if they just contacted us a little earlier and had the space available to work with. So that's the kind of thing we've been working on.
Perfect. Any questions or comments? All right. Doing great things out there. Up next is architects, and I guess the big architect activities coming out of schools. Is there anything you want to enlighten us about?
Community High Edition is coming right along. And, we got the sewer bid out on that, and it was a little more than we anticipated from the architect. We have two different architects, John Davis on that project,
Right.
Lon Sweeney on the other. So it was a little more, but we have enough in the ESSER funds to pay for that, so that will not hold up our project at all. So we are on schedule on that project. And then our school project, we have had two numbers given to us. Our goal is to get it down a little more. Right now, it is about, with furniture, tech, IT stuff, and architect fees, about a little over 42 million. It is our goal to get all in under 40 million before we bring it to you guys. So today, Jeff Sweeney and I met with both the construction companies and the architect to see what we could do to continue to reduce that. And so it is our goal, hopefully, to be able to bring that to the finance committee next month.
Great.
But it won't be cutting the number of students.
Yes,
Capacity.
we have tried to cut things that does not involve the programming. Is our goal to have a school with 800 students to get us to knock out those portables or get very close to it. We feel if we could do the new school and then down the road a wing at Liberty, that we could be out of the portable business. So that is our goal. So hopefully I can bring it to you next month.
Perfect. That's exciting. Any other comments or questions for?
I had a question.
Oh, yeah, Commissioner
I'm
Hill.
noticing that Mr. Sweeney is now representative of the county for the building. I guess I missed that somewhere, but where were his services retained and what are we paying for those?
I think it's $2,400 a month for 5 months that we have budgeted.
Okay, did that have to have approval from a committee?
It's
or
part of the,
recommendation?
it's part of the budget. We had it built into the
What
budget.
line? What department?
I'll have to get that for you because I don't know right offhand, but I can get it for you.
Okay.
It's the same account that we used for Bud Melson when he did it, and I just don't remember the account number.
Well, because we hadn't had one in quite some time, I was thinking that needed to be recommended through some committee and passed through for financial aspects of it to know where it's being funded.
Well,
That's
it
what I
went,
was
like I
just
say, it went
thinking.
through the budget process, so it was included.
Any other comments? All right. Up next is monthly reports.
Okay, you've got an analysis of tax collections, and if you look at your property tax collections, compared to the same time last year, we are more, about 565,000. Now, that doesn't mean we're gonna end the year like that. It's just some months are higher than others, and it depends on when people pay. The analysis of prior year collections were down 141,000 from the same time last year. Clerk and, okay, it's the one after the financial statements.
You jumped me.
Sorry.
All right, I messed around.
This one.
Yeah, there we go. Lost my mind a minute.
Okay, on page 2, you'll see the clerk and master collections were 12,785 ahead of the same time last year. Sales tax collections are 730,000 more than the same time last year. And then Public Works, you have the mineral severance tax. We've only got 1 month or 1 quarter to compare to, and it's 3,400 less than last year at this time. So that is the tax collection report. Are there any questions about it? Okay, the next report I want to go over is the juvenile detention. We're projecting a loss of 194,000 by the end of the year. And traffic school, we're projecting a 68,000 profit by the end of the year.
What am I doing today? I can't find my stuff.
Right here. That's the first one. That's juvenile. And that's,
I thought you said
Traffic.
190. Oh, okay. I was looking at the 16, not the 194.
Okay.
Okay.
we have to help him.
That's eggnog. Got me messed up.
Okay, any questions about those two? Okay, the next report is the comparison of expenditures compared to the average, and you'll see in red if they're over the average. That doesn't necessarily mean that it will end the year like that. There's some that are over, that have budget amendments that will be made. And normally you'll see travel ahead at this time because most of the travel is done at the beginning of the year. So this third page, you can see utilities, natural gas, food supplies. We're running a little bit high on food supplies, but some of that's because of purchase orders and when they're issued. It goes against our budget when we issue a purchase order. Okay, the next page is maintenance of vehicles, diesel, gasoline, and legal services. And we are running ahead of the average on diesel and gasoline. Now, I don't know how we're going to end the year on that. It depends on the pricing, and right now it's dropping, so it may help us out quite a bit. But that's the report on expenditures. Any questions on that one? And now, if you want to look at your financial report, which is the one with the cover page, I'll just point out a couple of things. On the general fund on page 1, we have received 22% of our budgeted revenues. And on the third page, you will see we have spent 37% of our expenditures, our budgeted expenditures, and that's on the general fund. Page 4 is the drug control fund. We have very little activity in that. Page 6, I don't know what happened to page 5, but page 6 is highway fund, and we have collected 31% of our budgeted revenues and spent 64% of our budgeted expenditures. And the next large one is schools, 141 on page 8. We have collected 34% of the revenues that we budgeted, and we have expended, I'm sorry, I'm on page 7. We have collected 36% of the revenues we budgeted and spent 34% of the expenditures. So that's the main ones there. If there are any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
All right, does anybody have any question for Robert regarding that? All right, hearing none, we're on to other reports, right? And so EMS, and somebody's in the house?
All right, you have our report, a couple issues, or not issues, a couple things I'll already attend to. Commissioner Doctor, you'll see our response times are there now. Took us about 4 months working with the company to get those redone. As you can see, they are a little higher than what we're used to seeing. 4 months and no data didn't help us, so I am happy to say Chris and I ran reports today after making a few adjustments internally on a couple of procedural things. They look much better. I think the city time was 5:15 currently, and the county was like under 10:30. So back to kind of what it was. So we're happy to say that. One thing we got going on, and we've been in involving the mayor and Robert about making strategically figuring this out. We try to get an ambulance every year, either a new one or a remount, and we all fund that in our budget. However, the problem we got right now is we ordered an ambulance a couple months ago, it's 2 years before we get it. So as you can imagine, that means we're gonna be running ambulances, getting higher mileage, more maintenance. So it's just kind of prepping you, we're gonna try to keep it obviously under control, but you may see maintenance, vehicle maintenance go high, because tons of us trying to do that. And we're working on ways maybe we can go ahead and get two or three more ambulances in the works, so that we're not waiting 2 years to order another one and we're already 2 years behind. So we're trying to strategically come up with solutions for that, but just want to make you aware that those are some challenges we're facing. We're replacing our fleet. And then one thing we're very happy to let you know is TASA, which is the Tennessee Ambulance Service Association, is recognizing our EMT and AMT program from across the state for its exemplary service. It's using it as a template, as what other services should be doing with their programs across the state. So we're very proud of that. And and Chris has headed that up. And that alone has kept us at full staff, which very few ambulance services in the state are at right now. So we are very pleased with that and happy to announce that. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
How many folks you put through that, Chris, that program?
Total?
Get the exact, we're close to 30.
Okay. Thank you.
We have a class going right now. It has 9 in it, 7 are our full-time employees. One works for Shelbyville Fire and the other works for Bedford County Fire. And it'll be done second week of February.
Yeah.
Brett, on the 2-year wait, is that because of parts shipments?
Supply chain, correct.
Well, does that affect your being able to keep the ones you got going?
So far, the service has been okay on them. We're probably gonna have 3 ambulances this year, get over 200,000 miles. So, they just go from nothing to full speed, so it'll be challenging, but we think we can manage it.
Commissioner Hoover.
I had a long conversation the other day with Chief of Memphis Fire. They're actually having the same issues acquiring ambulances. They're 3 years out on theirs. They use a little larger chassis, so they're a little bit different. They actually kind of shifted gears and we're looking at electric ambulances because they're a little bit easier to get. The problem is they don't meet Triple K standards, so therefore they're not going to be eligible to be used in Tennessee. So just letting you know that that's some other departments that are out there that are looking at other options, and they're running into roadblocks. So it seems like we're just going to be stuck trying to find whatever ambulances we can find, or fire trucks or whatever.
And there's an option of a van ambulance, where ours is a Type 3, which has a box in it. It's a van front with a box back. They have just van ambulances, much smaller. A lot of convalescent services, usually just transporting patients from the doctor's office home. Not much room to work in the back, so if you get a real critical patient, it's very challenging. If it came down to it, we could probably get one of those if we had to, but we're trying not to go that route.
Yeah, and there's no remount capabilities, so when that thing's done, you're throwing it away, where we're able to take the boxes and, yeah, correct. All right. Any other comments for him? All right, well, let me, I don't guess he's gonna tell it, but oh, the end of what? Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Just want to let everyone know, January 5th will be my last day with the county. I will be going to Heritage South Credit Union, so totally changing industries. I just want to thank the mayor, Mayor Ray, the commissioners, this committee for the support of EMS. We, without a doubt, have one of the best services in the state. You can ask state consultants, the state director, they will tell you that, and that's just because of the support we've had, the leadership of our department, and our commitment from our staff. So thank you all. I've been here 16 years. I've enjoyed every second of it. I love my job, and that's why people think I'm crazy, because I absolutely love coming to work every day. But it's time for a new challenge, and I'm looking for the
And I'd rather him do that than run for mayor. So, yeah, he's done a great job. He came in.
You can always come back home.
Absolutely, and that's absolutely true. And just don't let your license expire. And he did give us plenty of notice, and HR worked with his department working on a succession plan and transition, and Chris Cox is going to step up into that role. Now, right now, he's kind of doing dual duty, which they kind of all do dual duty anyway, in that he's continuing the training part, which was his primary focus prior to this. But they'll get it figured out. They got a good team out there, and we may have to tweak our reports a time or two. But everything's gonna be good. I wish him the best. And unfortunately, public safety is hard on your family. It's hard on you, and it's really a young person's game, so to speak. I used to say and like to say, because it's difficult to think you're going to be 50 and 60 years old, running up down the road in the middle of the night, thinking about what med I'm given. And so an opportunity for you and your family. You can't begrudge somebody that's doing something to improve their situation or their family. So we're grateful for all you've done, and you can come home. I can find something for you if they can't. So how's that? All right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Yeah, we worked with Brett for many years in public safety. We really hate to see it go, Brett, but we understand it's time for another challenge, but thank you for your service.
All right. I guess we need a motion to approve the reports.
Motion to approve all the reports.
All right, motion second, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, and then I think we got one piece of surplus, and it's on the Board of Education side, and it's in your packet as well. So we need a motion to send that to the commission.
Move to forward it.
Second.
All right, motion second, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, hearing none on that, we're ready for other business, if there is any. I didn't have a note wrote. Does anybody have something specific I overlooked tonight? All right, hearing none. Certainly, announcement-wise, Christmas is upon us. Merry Christmas to all of you. Thank you for what you do. And our schedule will be a little bit different for a day or two as you watch through the departments. I believe Friday and Monday are the days that we're not going to be in the administrative offices. Is that right? Thursday, Friday, and Monday. Wow, that's even better than I thought. Okay, and so, but we're available to you direct in any capacity that you need us. And again, even when offices are closed, the leadership is readily available, stands ready to help. So, any other comments or announcements or statements?
We got all the children home today to their parents for break.
Amen.
We'll return to school January 5th. Merry Christmas.
There you
We're
go.
done. Merry
Absolutely.
Christmas.
That makes us all proud. I used to,
Merry Christmas.
yeah. All right. Anything else?
No, sir.
We ready to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys.